Pac-12's all-time leading passer, no matter the reason. But they've done it twice this year. Here's Tate Martin. Okay. Washington was all over this one. Miles Bryant is back at the nickel spot. He had to play corner for much of the season with the injuries they've had there.
You gotta love how aggressive Washington is on the outside. Look at Bryant. He sees the screen. He ends up just getting to it right off the bat. That makes the other field tackle. Something else Washington doesn't get enough credit for. They tackle well in space. You don't see many missed tackles from this Husky defense.
Washington's been able to pressure with 3 and 4 all night. Across here's Patman, and he's hit by JoJo McIntosh.
JoJo McIntosh, the enforcer here for Lions. We have Cam Chancellor for the Seattle Seahawks, and he was ejected last week's game in the first half because of a targeting hit. That one looks awfully close, and really the rule is you can't lead with the crown of your helmet. That's something he did a week ago. Almost similar there.
Yeah, and it was added on in replay.
And just so people understand, too, it doesn't matter if they're defenseless or not. You can't lead with the crown of your helmet, bottom line.
They're down and short. Morrow gets swallowed up by Greg Gaines. Defense best 32nd start of his career. The big fellow with a big stop.
Well, and this is why Washington is so successful. They've only got 3 defensive linemen, and you got 5 offensive linemen, but they win those one-on-one matchups, and Greg Gaines, Vita Vea, Jalen Johnson, whoever else you want to throw into the conversation, their D-line gets it done. They allow the linebackers to flow free. They get penetration. They're so tough at the point of attack.
So the punt team comes out. Eric Powell's been the star of this game for Washington State so far. 55-yarder and a 64-yarder to the 1-yard line. This one crosses the field, and it's another good punt. How about Eric Powell today? Rolling inside the 10 with Aaron Fuller again watching it bounce. You happen to just be joining us. Dante Pettis left the game with an injury. 56-yarder that time. All about the Washington defense so far. The 110 Apple Cup.
Really? 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 Really?
See zero in a whole new way. It's 0 down, 0 deposit, 0.
for. Of course, the huge one is the left tackle, Trey Adams, getting knocked out with an injury. Perfectly done by Jake Browning. By Andre Bocelli, who finds an unsuspecting spectator down there, knocked it out of bounds, a first down.
So good, just so good. Watch the timing of this. Bocelli is rounding, and the ball's already out to the outside, which is the biggest key of any timing route when it's an outside breaking route. Away from the defender, there's really no opportunity for a quarterback to make a play on the football when you have that sort of timing and that sort of placement.
Well, Bocelli had some big catches in that comeback win last week. Had a fourth down catch to keep their hopes alive. 31-yarder to set up the game-winning field goal. With a half of steam, it's Gaskin into the second game. Miles Gaskin into Washington State territory.
I mean, look at this hole on the left side of the offensive line. Watch the movement. Once he hits, there's just a clear hole, and he is obviously good enough to see the backside cut, but there's no Washington State defender. I mean, look at that. There's no Washington State defender at the second level anywhere close to Gaskin. And this is the trouble that you find yourself in when you have to go up against teams that use 2 tight end sets and 3 tight end sets. It forces you to have to account for an additional gap up front in the run game. Right now, Washington State, they're not putting enough bodies down on the line of scrimmage.
They pound away again. Gaskin shifting his way, spinning his way. First down inside the 25. Washington already has more rushing yards than Washington State allows on average. There's an injured Cougar.
That's Jihad Woods, weak side linebacker, redshirt freshman out of San Diego, California. He's stepped up in a big way for this Cougar team. They've had a number of injuries at the linebacker position. Peyton Pallor, Nate DeRuyter, Isaac Dotson missed some time. He's been able to come back, but Woods has stepped up. He's 3rd on the team in tackles for loss. I hope he'll be okay. Man, Gaskin is something special, huh? That spin move. He's obviously a small back, which means the shiftiness or first contact. I mean, for a guy who stands at only 5'10", 190 pounds, he's not very big, but it's incredibly low to the ground. He's tough to stop.
Already 99 yards for Miles Gaskin. It's been all Washington in this game so far. Ahmed replaces Gaskin, and on 1st and 10, they toss it to him. He gets a nice block. And shut down by Marcus Strong after 6. But on every running play, there's a gaping hole. Doesn't matter who the running back is.
No, I mean, there's no defender to even meet any Washington running back until they're about 5 yards downfield at this point. You can get all the penetration you want, but at some point, you've got to build a wall. You got to set an edge. And that's really right now where Washington's winning. They're using their bigger bodies. In that particular case, Justice Warren, who kind of moonlights sometimes as a fullback, he's a tight end as well, did a good job of helping to create the hole to the outside. Line for the big game.
Huskies averaging 9 yards per carry. Gaskin trying to get to the outside. This time Washington State's there. Darian Moulton, the tackle. He gets close to a first down. It'll depend on where they spot him. Looks like just short. So 3rd down and less than a yard.
But as Washington gets closer and closer to the goal line, they tend to have a much higher tendency just to run the football. As they get in the red zone, it skyrockets up. Once you get inside the 10 in these sort of short yardage situations, they really like to pound away.
They'll sneak it like they did for their 2nd touchdown, and they are just absolutely dominating Washington State up front right now.
Look at the matchup of this Washington offensive line where every guy is about 300 pounds. They average over that per player. Then compare it to what you're facing with Washington State, where really Equale is the only guy who's over 300 pounds. You look at Hercules Mataafa, Muvu, Okwai, I mean, all those guys are around 240, 250 pounds.
Yeah, Okwai is playing up front at 237. First down and goal. Here's Gaskin. Patience to let the hole to develop. Strength to drive his way inside the 5. 2nd and goal.
And you said it. he had to be patient because Washington State decided to bring a pressure. He brought both linebackers, and he had to wait until the hold declared before he accelerated through it. I gotta wonder at some point, if you don't throw Jake Browning an opportunity to have a little play action pass as well as you're running the football. He's never hurt to mix that in again.
Instead, they keep it on the ground, and why not? Gaskin plunges his way in for the second time tonight. Washington's opened up a 3-score lead.
And look at the movement on the left side of this offensive line. They just wash everyone down, and Gaskin follows his lead blockers, in particular his tight end, Will Dissler. Started out as a defensive lineman, he then transitioned to playing tight end. And he's done a tremendous job stepping up, both in the run blocking, even as a pass-catching tight end at times for Washington.
(21-0) Washington. It was a different shade of red down in Palo Alto, enjoying this one.
My experience with USAA has been excellent. They always refer to me as Master Sergeant. They really appreciate the military family, and it really shows.
We've got auto insurance, homeowners insurance.
I had an accident with the vehicle. I actually called USAA before we called the police. USAA was very hands-on, very quick, very prompt. I feel like we're being handled as people that actually have a genuine need. We're the Weber family, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
Stressful days can lead to sleepless nights, making you feel helpless. Take control of your sleep with Unisom sleep tabs. You fall asleep 33% faster and wake up recharged. With all the benefits of a good night's rest, take control of your sleep with Unisom.
Time. Overwatch Game of the Year Edition is 50% off.
We're on our way.
Overwatch. Get it now and save 50%. Rated Teen.
Taco Bell's new $5 cravings deal has all of Taylor's favorites, like the beefy 5-layer burrito, cinnamon twist, crunchy taco, cheesy gordita crunch, and a medium drink. It also has Brad's favorites, the guy who bought it. Taco Bell's new $5 cravings deal.
Coke Zero is now Coke Zero Sugar, with great Coke taste. Some people were excited to hear the news, some were skeptical. So we're not going to have any pro players taking sips in slow motion. Because the only thing that will make you believe is trying it yourself.
The Weapon, all new Tuesday at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
Fox College Football is sponsored by USAA, insurance, banking, and investments tailored for the military community. And by Coke Zero Sugar. Coke Zero Sugar has great Coke taste with 0 calories and 0 sugar. Back in Seattle, Washington all over Washington State. They marched down the field largely on the run. 93 yards on 9 plays, 7 of them on the ground.
Averaging 8 yards per carry. Just dominant performance so far by the Washington rushing attack, and in particular, that O-line.
Farrington and Renard Bell back to return Vizcaino's kick. It's Bell. Flag flies in.
Looks like the officials are trying to discuss the spot.
During the return, illegal block to the back, receiving team number 20.
half the distance to the goal. First down.
We just talked about how dominant the O-line has been. The defense has been just as dominant for Washington.
It's been very complimentary, meaning the coverage has been there downfield. Washington's doing a tremendous job of pattern matching, and they basically are running the routes for the Washington State wide receivers. And then it's been taking advantage of mistakes. The turnover by Falk, and then the fumble. And you can see Mike Leach is upset with his quarterback, rightfully so. He's going to have to make more throws in tight windows.
A three-man rush gets to him. He was popped as he let it go. Vita Vea just blew things up.
And for that very reason, Washington's getting pressure with 3- and 4-man rushes, meaning you're going to have to throw the football in tight windows because there's 8 in coverage. You've only got 5 eligible receivers able to out in your routes.
I mean, it's impossible. You get a 3-man rush with that kind of pressure and 8 men in coverage.
You've got to find the pockets in the zone coverage at times. And you're going to have to take advantage of the short throws and incrementally work your way down the field. And Luke Falk's going to have to use his legs at some point.
There's a whistle before the snap.
The previous play is under further review. The ruling on the field was an incomplete pass.
Check to see. I believe the ball just went out of bounds.
Yeah.
So
potentially looking to see if it was a fumble. Maybe he had lost control of the football.
Right.
He left his hand, but it looked to be incomplete. Take another look along with the officials.
Kevin Marr, the head referee. Jerry Meyerhoff, the replay official today.
I mean, look, they're double teaming Vea, and he still finds a way to get to Falk. This clearly had possession as Vea touched it, but the other thing they're looking at is whether or not it was lateral or forward, and it's close, but it still looks like it went forward.
Yeah.
So it should be an incomplete pass, 2nd and 10.
This has been the thing for Washington State in recent years. Even as they've turned the program around, they just can't figure Washington out. And a big part of the reason why has been the ability to get pressure with just 3.
It comes down to the fact that you're about ready to hear the announcement.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Incomplete pass, 2nd down.
It comes down to this. I mean, they run somewhat of a simple offense. They don't change personnel groupings very much. They have 4 wide receivers, or sometimes 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers. It's the same concepts over and over and over again, even though they throw to someone different. And when you look at the history, or at least this season, for example, their losses, they lost earlier this year to Cal. Justin Wilcox had experience at Boise State. They lost to Arizona. Their defensive coordinator, Marcel Yates, was previously at Boise State. There's a lot of connections to Chris Peterson and Boise State.
Falk again in trouble. And ripped down. They spot him at the 1. Benning Pozolani gets involved in the action.
At the 2-yard line.
And the key is going to be where his forward progress was stopped. And they've got him about the 1.5-yard line, but there's not much you can say at this point. You've got to try to win those battles up front. Vita Vea is doing a good job of forcing Luke Falk to either have to move in the pocket or deal with the constant pressure. The thing you got to look at it, did Luke Falk hold on to this football? And it looks like his forward progress was stopped around the 1.
3rd and 17, and again they bring 3. Falk off his back foot, throws it out of bounds. And with the rain falling in Seattle, Luke Falk is living a nightmare right now.
And he took an absolute shot from Vita Vea. And they had an eligible wide receiver in the vicinity. Otherwise, that potentially could have been intentional grounding, which would have ended up being a safety. He just got nowhere to go. That's 340 pounds in your face.
No thanks. Fuller to return this punt. Kyle Sweet will send it away. Receiver for Washington State also handles some of the punt duties. And good coverage. 2nd tackle from Kyle Selleck. punt coverage. Time for a game break. We go back to Los Angeles.
Joe, thanks. We go back to the farm. Number 21, Stanford. Number 8, Notre Dame. KJ Costello, little floater. JJ Arcega-Whiteside comes back for it. Stanford leads 14-10 in the second. Of course, UW making a 4th trip to the Pac-12 title game under David Shaw, looking better and better for the Cardinal.
Yeah, no matter what happens in that game, Stanford would go to the Pac-12 championship game if this score held up. Washington State's going to need a monster comeback to make its first trip.
There's still plenty of time, but they've got to find a way of getting a stop versus this Washington offense.
Play action on first down. Browning rolls and throws to the sideline for Ty Jones. His second catch goes for a dozen and a first down.
Only his 5th reception on the season, the true freshman out of Provo, Utah. The key here is he comes back to the football. Puts his foot in the ground, gets separation from Harper, an accurate throw by Browning. As Browning leaves the field, and once again, you're going to see Washington go to this wildcat package with Myles Gaskin, the featured quarterback, if you will, 3 running backs in the game.
Here's Gaskin. Stuck his nose down, stayed on his feet somehow to get a short gain.
Good adjustment by the Washington State defense. We saw how that personnel grouping really plagued them with the big game by Ahmed earlier on the jet sweep. That time they weren't fooled by the motion. Stayed at home to set an edge on Gaskin.
Ahmed hits the hole hard, and Ahmed close to a first down as it dots him with a tackle. This is last play. What do you do with your chain when it comes off big game?
Where else are you going to put it? You got to put it in your sock, man. It's the only safe spot for it. Pull it up. Problem is, as much as he's been running the football tonight, probably not too safe. So we got a breather, and he made sure that chain was safe.
He keeps running like this. He'll buy all the chains he wants a couple years from now. Junior from Linwood, Washington. Back in there as the Wildcat quarterback. The flag flying.
False start. Offense number 98. 5-yard penalty. Still 3rd down.
And the tough part for Disley in that case is when you're mixing in and out your quarterback, where you're at home, you're going to go with cadence. But then you go to a wildcat scenario where a running back's back there, a quarterback, you usually go more on a silent count. So you're kind of mixing up all of a sudden the cadence, and it's sometimes difficult to deal with amongst the talk and chatter on the offensive line talking about the blocking scheme.
Washington State will have the ball to open the second half, trying to gather some momentum here, getting a stop on a short field. Browning looking left, throwing incomplete behind Bocelli. From here, it would be a 44-yarder for Tristan Vizcaino. And he started out of the field, then they pulled him back, and now they'll send him out.
He's had somewhat of a roller coaster year. Obviously, the game winner last week, but inconsistent to say the least this year.
Yeah, he was benched at one point after a 1-for-6 stretch. Back into the starting role, and after missing an extra point, missing a 30-yard field goal, hit the first game winner of his life. An incredible finish against Utah last weekend.
Timeout. Washington State. 60 seconds in length.
We were both headed back from Stanford Cal, watching that game last weekend here in Seattle. It was incredible. 10 points in the final 58 seconds. Disley had a big reception to set up Myles Gaskin for a 2-yard touchdown. That was with 58 seconds. Tied the game at 30. Washington got the ball back. A little bit of controversy getting them down there. And then Vizcaino hit the game winner.
Yeah, the controversy is head coach for Utah, Kyle Whittingham, calling a timeout after what, a 2-yard gain to begin that drive that ended up sending them or getting them the victory. But Washington without any timeouts, if it doesn't call that, they're probably just going to go into overtime. But with the timeout, Washington was able to dissect up a couple plays and march down the field for the game-winning field goal by Vizcaino.
This, by the way, would be Vizcaino's career long. Does have a strong leg. He's a kickoff man throughout his career. And as a high schooler, hit a 57-yarder at one point. Keno from 44. It is right down the middle.
With the exception of one drive, Washington has continued to find points every time they've gotten the football this half.
Chris Peterson's team trying to get to 10 wins. Started off 6-0. Absolute domination. A lot of people thinking they were headed for the playoff, but then that loss at Arizona State in a game where not much went right. Losing to Stanford on a Friday night down in Palo Alto, and that right now is the difference in them getting to the Pac-12 championship game or not, and perhaps getting to the college football playoff or not, with all the carnage we've seen around the country.
The Arizona State loss was the one that was very uncharacteristic when you watch that game. Offensively, I thought played well enough to give themselves a chance. Offensively, just couldn't put up enough points. Jake Browning received a lot of criticism for holding on to the football too much. Sacked a number of times throughout the course of that game. And Stanford, to me, that was more of the balance they had. Not only running the football, but they were able to get some production versus the Washington secondary, which is something that we really hadn't seen all year. And in the past 2 weeks, they've given up a number of pretty big performances considering the standards they've set for themselves.
Yeah, they give up 11 touchdowns over the first 9 games, 6 touchdowns the last 2 weeks. Bernard Bell crosses the 20. NFL week of action continues tomorrow on Fox. Carson Wentz, a lot of people's MVP at this point, leads the Eagles against the Bears. Check your local listings for the game in your area or stream it live on Fox Sports Go.
How good has Carson Wentz been in his second year in the NFL? A legitimate MVP candidate. Got the opportunity for the Eagles to get that #1 spot in the NFC. I think there's a team here locally that might have something to say about that, but we've got a lot of work to do. Talking about the Seahawks.
Speaking of a lot of work to do, Mike Leach in Washington State in danger of getting shut out in a half for the first time since the Apple Cup 3 years ago. Luke Falk down the middle for Tavares Martin Jr. Put it in a tight spot, and Martin made the catch to the 45 for a gain of 23.
There's just not many quarterbacks that can make that throw with enough arc and pace to be able to get it over the defender, but in the hole in the zone coverage to his wide receiver. That is tremendous.
Talked about the 3 T's before the game. One of them was touch on display there. Now to the sideline, Isaiah Johnson-Mack. Kept in bounds. Clock winds near a minute.
Washington State has plenty of time. 2 timeouts. They operate extremely efficient. It's not like their operation changed a whole lot in 2 minutes, considering how fast they typically play on normal downs.
On 2nd and 1. Falk finds a window for a first down to Kyle Sweet. Finally getting a little bit of rhythm here.
We better come back to that football. We talk about this Washington defense. Their quarterbacks do a good job of getting their eyes on the quarterback and breaking on the football. Myron Murphy almost had a hand on that one.
Already forced 2 turnovers tonight. Inside a half minute, Falk checks it down, and it's dropped by Morrow.
And with 23 seconds now on the clock, I'm going to be honest with you, that game probably wouldn't have got them much, and it's in the middle of the field, so they would have had to probably burn a timeout. It's not the worst incompletion you can have in this scenario where try to take some shots, deeper shots down to the middle of the field. You can still use one of those 2 timeouts.
Got a weapon in Eric Powell, who's hit 3 from beyond 50 this year. An empty set on 2nd and 10. They flood the right side of the field. Falk scrambles the other way. Lets it develop. Throws, and it's picked. Tipped and intercepted. Ezekiel Turner headed the other way. The 3rd first-half turnover from Washington State.
It all starts with the pressure. Vita Vale once again forces Luke Falk off the spot. Watch him force Falk to the right, which cuts the field in half. And then it allows the safeties for Washington, who are watching Falk's eyes the entire time, to be able to get a tip pick and the return, putting Washington in position now to be able to come away with points.
maybe one heave-ho, or they look to do here in the closing seconds. 6 seconds remaining in the first half. Coming up at half, Mike Mark, State Farm halftime show. Falk against Browning. Browning has gotten the better of that battle in this first half. Auburn takes down Alabama. We'll rehash that one. And Ohio State over Michigan today in the Big House.
You can get one quick play in with 3 timeouts. Typically what you're talking about in the huddle, what you're alerting the officials of, is we're going to run a play. If we're down in bounds, we're calling a timeout immediately once he hits the ground. Now, it can't be that far downfield, but you'd like to be somewhere that allows Vizcaino the opportunity to at least give this a shot. And if not, we're going to have to be throwing up a Hail Mary towards the end zone.
Browning 8 for 13 in this first half. It's been mostly about the ground game. 7.5 yards per carry for the Huskies. Number 45, they will throw short, leaving 2 seconds. An incomplete pass looking for Aaron Fuller.
Jake Browning didn't like the way that football came out of his hand. He knew he had free access to Fuller. That's typically an easy pitch and catch for Browning, one of his wide receivers. And with the personnel they're bringing right now, it looks like they're just going to down it.
Satisfied with a 24-0 lead over the number 13 team in the country. They do it all without Dante Pettis, without Levon Coleman. The Huskies all over the Cougars, trying to reach 10 wins for the 2nd year in a row, trying to spoil Washington State's championship hopes. Out of Mike Hill in Los Angeles, the State Farm halftime show.
Fellas, welcome to the State Farm College Football halftime show. Mike Hill hanging out with the coach, Mark Helfrich. All Washington in the first half, coach, imposing their will against their bitter rivals, Washington State, in every phase on the ground. Myles Gaskin getting the job done as we take a look at the State Farm most valuable possession, and it is the running back, Gaskin.
Yeah, it's been extremely impressive. 16 carries, 114, and 2 touches. And that's what we're talking about in the open. Just stays square and always finishes moving forward. First contact, obviously finishing the end zone. First contact, almost breaks this one the distance. Very, very impressive schematically by the Washington offensive staff. Again, we talked about gap schemes, zone schemes against the Alex Grinch defensive attack of Washington State.
Washington State's defense on the ground gives up on average 129 yards per game. Washington already has 181 yards in the first half, 114 going to Gaskin. Meanwhile, I said every phase of the game. Yep. And you know Washington's got a really good defense.
Kicker going.
And their kicker going, special teams, everything's going. Their defense really shutting down Luke Falk in that offense.
Yeah, when you take a look at these highlights, take a look at how many guys are rushing. Right here it's 4, and they're playing just a conventional 2-deep zone. They're getting home with the pressure. Now it's 3, creating a cloud for Luke Falk. That's his first of 2 picks. Right here, another 3-man rush leads to a fumble by Falk. That allows the coverage to stay deep and play deep to front on Luke Falk. Here's his bad pick there to end the first half. He had a little something going there, and that certainly stalled it. But Pete Kwiatkowski doing a great job, the defensive coordinator from Washington State, of changing up a 3- and a 4-man rush. That's a disaster for Luke Falk.
Yeah, 3 turnovers for Washington State. They average 455 yards of offense per game. 107 yards so far in the first half. A lot of that came on their final drive before that interception. All right, still to come, no JT, no problem. Ohio State beats Michigan to keep in the college football playoff race. Highlights coming up of the big game after the break. And Chip Kelly, Mark Helfrich knows the guy well. He's coming here to L.A. Tell you about his deal with UCLA coming up next.
Washington State University, an institute of...
Wait, let me show you WSU. We're about being hands-on and getting our hands dirty. We bring art to science and science to wine. We build Mars rovers and launch new medical schools, with the occasional pizza break. Now back to work, because we're always moving forward and leaving our mark on the world. Now that's my WSU.
The Black Friday discounts are on now at all Walker's locations. Get a free Serta Eye Comfort or Beauty Rest Black Box Spray, or save up to $600 on an adjustable foundation.
Through this Monday at Walker's Furniture and Mattress.
Another decade with a spouse. A rich, full life, rather than one cut short. How do we place value on these? Today's breakthroughs in biopharmaceutical medicines are delivering more than stunning outcomes, more than cures. They are giving us time. Time. What is more precious? And what better reason to push forward the cures we see so close at hand?
Warning! This ad may save you money. It's time for Dave Smith's countdown to #1 sale. What does this mean to you? Low, low, low prices on over 2,000 new Chryslers, Dodge, Jeeps, and Rams. Receive our absolute lowest prices during the Black Friday sales event going on now. And enter to win a new custom 2017 Ram 1500. DaveSmith.com. 800-635-8000. Don't miss Dave Smith's countdown to #1 sale.
So your folks took it pretty hard, huh?
They loved that tree. It really meant a lot to them.
I look back upon my child, see the snapshots of my life.
This is all trees.
And I will remember you.
Let's bring everyone closer this holiday. Toyota, let's go places.
Get Black Friday big discounts at all Walker's Furniture and Mattress stores. Get store-wide Black Friday savings or 5 years no-interest financing.
Today through this Monday at Walker's Furniture and Mattress.
This is your wake-up call.
All right, now we got something.
These guys sleep and eat everything sports.
I'm glad you're on my team.
Maybe it's just an obsession.
Does LeBron know that you're obsessed with him?
First things first, weekday mornings on FS1.
Welcome back to the State Farm Fox College Football Halftime Show.
Miles Gaskin making things happen. 114 yards, 2 touchdowns in the first half. His team all over Washington State, 24-0 at the half. We're back at the half. Mike Hill, Mark Helfrich in our LA studios hanging out. It is rivalry weekend. And, of course, one of the biggest rivalries in all of football happening in the big house today. Number 7, Ohio State. Still hopes of going to the college football playoff, taking on Michigan, trying to get his 9th win of the season. J.T. Barrett, 4-0 in his career against Michigan, trying to go that way. From the first Ohio State quarterback to do so, but John O'Corn put his team up 14-0 with that pass to John McKeon. But then later, Barrett and the boys came back.
Yeah, Ohio State got the run game going, which then opened up that 25-yard touchdown to Marcus Baugh, and then came trouble for J.T. Barrett.
Yeah, a little trepidation here. Barrett goes down with his team up by 6. His team down 6, I should say. Grabs his right knee, a meniscus injury, would not come back into the game. Actually got hit pregame with a camera. Didn't identify the cameraman, so don't call us. Dwayne Haskins, redshirt freshman, comes in. Nice job replacing him today.
Yeah, highly recruited guy from Maryland, a great player, and predominantly a passer, but he shows his wheels here down to the 1-yard line. He's a great player. It'll be an interesting week at practice to see who plays quarterback next week against Wisconsin.
Ask you about that in a second. 22-yard gain set up the J.K. Dobbins touchdown run. Ohio State takes the lead 21-20, fourth quarter. OSU up by 4 now. O'Corn starting at quarterback, and they've had some issues at quarterback in Michigan. Jordan Fuller picks him off, and then that turnover leads to this touchdown. Mike Weber, 25-yard touchdown, and Cardale Jones, remember he took over in 2014? Yeah,
I remember that.
Yeah, took over in 2014, so went to J.T. Barrett, and went on to the Wisconsin Big Ten Championship game, went on to the National Championship game. Now, all right, Haskins, let's say Barrett is 75-80%. He's just a senior. He's one of the greatest quarterbacks in Ohio State history. But Haskins comes in and looks good. Right. What do you do if you're Urban Meyer in the Big Ten Championship?
You play the best guy. You know, he's obviously shown that he played Cardale Jones a couple of years ago, and it'll be interesting. J.T. Barrett is a stud. He's a leader. He's a captain. He's the only starter in Michigan. I mean, in the Ohio State-Michigan rivalry to win 4 years in a row. Even Haskins talked today about how he's coached him and helped him out. Says so much about him, but it's about producing on the field. And Dwayne Haskins certainly did that in the second half this afternoon. So it'll be a, you know, as they go throughout the week, decision by those coaches.
All right, you look at Barrett, and Barrett said he'll be all right to play in the football game. He said that it's a meniscus injury that kind of pops in and out every now and then.
Yeah, which is so painful, which again just talks about his toughness.
All right, we'll see what happens there. Of course, they're playing in the Big Ten Championship game on Fox. It's the one Fox. You got it. Only on Fox. I like that. Coach, you fitting right in right here. Number 5, Wisconsin, Minnesota. Wisconsin, of course, the team that Ohio State will be playing that Big Ten Championship game. And Alex Hornibrook looked good today. First to Cal Pittiston, then to Danny Davis, 5-yard touchdown. Wisconsin goes up 24-0. But of course, you know, Wisconsin known for that defense and their running game, and Jonathan Taylor part of that.
Jonathan Taylor, just an unbelievable year. Probably didn't get the Heisman consideration or the talk early that he deserved, but setting them up nicely. A ton of confidence going into the Big Ten Championship.
They get the Paul Bunyan's X. Wisconsin wins it 31-0. And then guess what happens next Saturday, Coach? Big Ten Championship game. Ohio State taking on number 5 Wisconsin. Coverage begins at 7 Eastern. Where?
It's on Fox.
Yeah, just in case you didn't hear it. Elsewhere in the Big Ten, Nebraska fired head coach Mike Riley earlier today. Riley was 19-19 in 3 seasons in Lincoln after arriving from Oregon State. Was just 4-8 this season, finishing with 4 straight losses. And over in the Pac-12, it's official. UCLA has reached a 5-year, $23.3 million deal with Chip Kelly on his birthday, making him their next head coach. He replaces Jim Moore, who was fired on his birthday on Sunday. Kelly was rumored to be deciding between UCLA and Florida before eventually deciding to land in Westwood. Got to shake up. Top of the rankings. Number 2 team went down. So did the number 1 team. How's this going to affect the college football playoffs? We'll discuss coming up.
Play back.
Is this my car? State Farm knows that for every one of those moments,
This is ridiculous.
there's one of these.
Is this my car? What? This is ridiculous.
This can't be happening.
This can't be happening.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Oh, it's happening, sweetheart.
Shut up.
Shut up.
Ah!
That's why State Farm is there.
What a day.
With car insurance for when things go wrong,
What a day.
but also here with car loans to help life go right. State Farm.
No one knows where it comes from. Why some have it and some don't. It's the fighting spirit that consumes fear and weakness. It stands ready to fight whatever shape the battle takes. Because as long as there are battles, there will always be Marines.
Congratulations, USC, for clinching the South Division in West for the 2017 Pac-12 Football Championship. The stage is set as USC takes on the North in an exciting after-dark matchup only the Pac-12 can deliver. Get tickets now for the Pac-12 Football Championship game, Friday, December 1st at Silicon Valley's Levi Stadium. Experience the chemistry on the field and in the air. Don't miss it. Go to pac-12.com/tickets.
Fox Thursday.
What the hell just happened?
The crew enters a dimension unlike anything they've seen before.
Oh my God.
Let's move fast.
The Orville, starring Seth MacFarlane. All new Thursday or anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
What is Versace without you?
It would be you.
Who am I without you?
What's your emergency?
Must be hard being a first responder.
Only way to survive the job is to find a way to cope with the work you lose. But in those moments, when you actually save someone, there is no better feeling in the world.
We have to get her to the hospital now.
I can help you. Please.
Well, and as Apple Cups finally arrived here at Husky Stadium, it's the battle between the Huskies and the Cougars. A lot on the line.
We finally made our way into the stadium. We looked at this thing. We said, this is magnificent. A lot bigger than Martin Stadium. This one holds 70,000 people. Martin Stadium in Pullman, just 35,000.
And can I say, you just nailed the forecast, by the way?
Thanks, you know. There you go. So, 70,000
70,000 people filing in with umbrellas over their head. It is going to be a spectacular game. You think about this, rain equals football weather. So there you go.
All right, well, obviously the Cougars have had a better season than the Huskies. Watch for that Cougar D to make a difference in this game. Pac-12 championship game if the Cougars can pull out a win here in enemy territory. You guys ready?
Yeah, they're going to get that North title, Pac-12 North champions, and then we're on to next week. But first, we got to get this game done. Kicks off at 5 o'clock.
All right, that'll do it.
With the conference title and a playoff berth on the line, JT Barrett leads Ohio State. JT Barrett as the Buckeyes battle the Wisconsin Badgers. The Big Ten Championship coverage begins next Saturday at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on Fox.
Welcome back to the State Farm Fox College Football Halftime Show.
Mike McIntyre, Kyle Whittingham, coaches getting ready to go. Colorado, Utah, both teams needing a win to become bowl eligible. That's about to kick off in a matter of minutes on FS1. Mike Hill, Mark Helfrich back with you at the half. You know how good the Alabama-Auburn rivalry is. Let me tell you how great it's been. The last 7 of the last 8 winners of this game gone on to play in the national championship game.
Amazing.
A lot at stake. Number 1, Alabama. Number 6, Auburn. This was Auburn's game to win, and Jared Stidham got the job done with his legs, with his arm. 16-yard touchdown right there. Auburn knocked off number 1 Alabama 26-14. Fans on the field. Remember, also Miami, number 2 team in the nation, lost earlier this week. Number 3 Clemson, maybe they'll move up to number 1. Taking on number 24 South Carolina, Kelly Bryant. Oh, he's done a great job taking over from Deshaun Watson. Hunter Renfro, you know how big he was in the national championship game, still getting it done. Second touchdown of the game. Clemson rolling 27-0. How about number 7, Georgia? Georgia Tech. Georgia will take on Auburn in the SEC championship game. Jake Fromm to Akil Crumpton. Tiptoeing down that sideline, 78-yard touchdown pass, and Georgia wins it 38-7. So once again, Georgia plays Auburn national championship game. You got to assume SEC champ's going to get in, maybe ACC champ's going to get in. So Bama, regular season, they can't redeem themselves. The regular season is over. No SEC championship game. So how do you think the College Football Playoff Committee will view them as a one-loss team?
Well, I think if you're Nick Saban, you're picking up the phone and you're calling Gary Patterson and you're calling Urban Meyer, and you're a big fan of those two teams, because if Oklahoma wins and Wisconsin wins, they're out. I think they're just as you said, the SEC is a play-in game. The SEC championship game is a play-in game, and so they're in trouble if OU and Wisconsin win.
All right, so Alabama, I don't know how far they're going to drop down in the latest polls or whatever that comes out on Tuesday, but if Ohio State, once again, knocks off Wisconsin, you're saying a 2-loss Ohio State team would be in over an Alabama team. Is that what you're saying?
I'm saying if Ohio State wins, I think Bama's in. I think
Ohio State wins, okay.
Bama's going to go in on reputation and losing to it.
Ohio State's got a good reputation too.
Absolutely, but 2 losses versus Alabama loses on the road to a team that beat 2 number 1 teams in Auburn.
Right, nothing wrong with losing to Auburn, as good as they've been playing lately. Meanwhile, Washington dominating on defense. Huskies leading 24-0 at the half. Back to Joe and Brady coming up after the break.
Ain't nothing out there like you think it is. Ain't no training gonna prepare you. There's no glory, no heroes. It's just death.
The Long Road Home, Tuesdays at 10 on National Geographic.
Has the right tires for winter driving. We offer quality brands such as Cooper, Nokian, Bridgestone, and many more.
We have a great selection of winter tires, studless, studdable, ice, and mud tires.
Call Perfection Tire today for our lowest pricing.
How was work?
Compared to what?
Uh-oh.
Okay, just relax. The key to any survival situation is not to panic.
Survival situation?
Luckily, I've got my handy-dandy headlamp here, and I haven't told you this, but I've been stockpiling potted meats.
I'll make tacos.
The $50,000 generator a day giveaway. Every day in November, only at Northern Quest.
Looking for adventure off the beaten path?
or need traction in gravel or snow, the new Golf All-Track 4Motion all-wheel drive is the answer.
The 170 horsepower turbocharged engine delivers a good time behind the wheel. Plus, with App Connect, simply plug in your compatible smartphone.
Get all-wheel drive adventure and safety with the new Golf All-Track. Test drive one at the home of 0000 Post Falls Volkswagen.
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
You've got your list and you don't want to wander around looking for what you need. Well, at your locally owned Ace Hardware, our experts are ready to help with a wide selection of the brands you trust and experts like Dawn. We'll ask all the right questions to make sure you get everything you need the first time, because at Ace we have our own list and great service is at the top. Come see us today.
Are you ready for winter driving? Don't let extreme weather catch you off guard.
Let Perfection Tire certified technicians winterize your car. We'll check your antifreeze, battery, and more.
Whatever your vehicle needs, Perfection's got it. Nobody beats Perfection.
Most universities dream of excelling at one thing. The Pac-12 excels at many. We have a tradition of bringing all the right elements together. That's our team chemistry. With over 500 NCAA titles to our name, our dominance across all sports is unquestioned. The commitment to our student athletes is unparalleled. These are the elements of excellence. Pac-12, the Conference of Champions.
The 110th Apple Cup, Washington and Washington State, all Huskies in that first half. We get ready to start the second half. Joe Davis, Brady Quinn, Bruce will be with us again in a moment. I mean, that was in every phase a thorough beatdown.
Yeah, I mean, look, football games are won and lost at the line of scrimmage, and that's what we're seeing right now from Washington. They're winning the battle up front offensively, rushed for almost 200 yards in the first half. Washington State cannot stop them, and they can't get off the field. And then on the flip side, defensively, Washington has been unbelievably tough up front, and it's been the pressure they've been able to get with their front three, front four, and also the coverage downfield. I mean, there's nowhere for Luke Falk to go with the football. It's forcing him to hold on to the football longer than he'd like, and that's where the pass rush comes into play. And then it's been the mistakes, the costly turnovers, 2 interceptions, both coming on second down, where they haven't had a lot of production, and then Falk trying to find some sort of running game on the third down, ends up fumbling the football. And again, it's been all game long.
Washington State will have it to begin the second half. Looking for a monster comeback to get to the Pac-12 championship game. Otherwise, it'll be Stanford to take on USC on Friday night from Santa Clara. Keith Harrington has his hands on it and chopped down to the 25-yard line. Take a look at our Geico first half stats. Here is proof of what we're talking about. Washington State minus 25 on the ground. And this is not your typical Washington State defense where normally giving up 181 on the ground and a half wouldn't be a big deal. They're really good stopping the run traditionally this year.
And really the other thing is getting turnovers and then turning those into points. And that's more been the story of tonight's game so far with Washington, not Washington State.
So how does Washington State get it going offensively? Pac-12's all-time leading passer, Luke Falk, 12 of 19 with those 2 interceptions. Against a 3-man rush like they saw much of the first half. They complete it to Tavares Martin Jr. Then we go down to Bruce Feldman.
Joe, Mike Leach's diagnosis of that first half, our guys are just trying to do too much, and we're trying to make all these special plays. I had asked him, I said, do you think you guys are at all intimidated by these guys? He goes, I don't really think so, but we got to find a way to get these guys blocked, especially that number 50. He's killing us.
Goofy DeVea. Bernard Bell, the motion man. They bring an extra man this time, and Luke Falk takes off. They'll spot him where he began the slide, which is right at the marker.
That's something that Luke Falk's going to have to do a lot of in this second half, because Washington State doesn't have much of a running game as good as Washington's been up front and stopping the run. And you're at a deficit now where you've got to throw the football. So when they do have an opportunity, when he has an opportunity to find a rush lane and pick up additional yards, he's going to have to do that.
We're going to take a look at this, Brady, and I'm not sure that he had gotten the first down before he began that slide. And again, you're spotted where you give yourself up, where you begin to commit to the slide. That's where the ball goes.
Let's take another look. So right there, it's going to be where the ball is. And as you and I have talked about through the course of the season, Joe, the tough thing is going to be, you know, is there indisputable evidence this will be our best look? I mean, I think he's got it in that case, or at least there's not anything that would tell me otherwise that would overturn what the call was on the field. You said it all year long. It's really tough to overturn a spot. A number of things we've seen throughout the course of tonight's game, and really where Washington State's offense has struggled is two things. It's when they're getting their timing disrupted on the outside from press coverage, and also obviously pressure on Luke Falk. When he's had to get off his spot and move, it's been tough for him to be able to find
After further review, it's been determined that the runner was down at the 35-yard line. It'll be third down.
Yeah, so they say he started his slide about a yard early. So third down and 1 coming up.
That's interesting. I didn't think, based on our replay and what we showed, his knee's down right there.
Third down and 1 for the Cougars on their first drive of the second half. Something sorted out. That is not Will Ferrell. It is Rick DiBernardo. Dead ringer for Will Ferrell. I'm not sure exactly what they're taking a look at.
I don't know that we've ever seen a game where they're taking this much time on a spot and what they could be talking about right now.
Whoever has the laser, please put it away.
That explains it. All right. Got the laser put away. Got the ball spotted where it should be. Yeah, third and 1. They throw the bubble. Kyle Sweet not going to get it. Ball comes out. They say that it's a completion and a fumble that Washington State recovers. Sweet gets on top of the ball that he coughed up.
Washington State tries to utilize a wide receiver screen. You're going to see the recognition up here. Look how you see Byron Murphy redirect, get to the football. That's football instincts. Doesn't get much better than that. And the thing that you're seeing is Washington didn't have the numbers. There was only 2 defenders out there. They had the opportunity to complete the wide receiver screen for a decent gain, but Murphy just won the one-on-one battle in the open field. That's been the story of tonight's game.
So that overturned call lines up looming large as they have to punt it away. Fuller with a fair catch on the line drive. So Washington will have it for their first drive of the second half from the 33-yard line after this.
At Outback, Big Australia is back. So for a limited time, your favourites are getting even bigger. 18-ounce centre cut sirloin kind of big. Aussie Bloom big. Boomerang beer flights big. 6-layer chocolate cake, and ultimate Great Barrier combo big. Our biggest entrees ever. Hurry in now, Outback Steakhouse, Aussie rules. And come in every day for big lunch combos starting at $7.99.
This holiday, what are you going to give? Give 30 more seconds on your Peloton. Give them something to see. Give them the one thing that will make them give it all. Give the gift of Peloton.
This is not another 18-blade razor. Because this is Philips Norelco One Blade. A blade for beards and stubble. Shape and shave any length. Philips Norelco.
Save up to 50% now through December 2nd.
Can I cross it off yet?
Almost. And now.
The Volkswagen Atlas with available digital cockpit. Life's as big as you make it.
It's okay that everybody ignores me when I drive. It's fine, because I get a safe driving bonus check every 6 months I'm accident-free. And I don't share it with Mom, right, Mom? Right.
Safe driving bonus checks only from Allstate. Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Allstate, official protector of college football fans. And by Dockers, khakis ready for anything. One of the great scenes in college football. Lake Washington, also against Husky Stadium here. Well, the ground game has been dominant for these Huskies.
Yeah, and credit the blocking up front. And Miles Gaskin isn't getting touched, so he's 5, sometimes 10 yards downfield. And they've been able to dominate the line of scrimmage they needed to most in the red zone. That's been the mix that Jonathan Smith has brought as far as the wildcat packages that allowed them to show some different looks and finding even more production.
So Miles Gaskin will begin this second half at running back. 114 yards for him in that first half. Here he is. And a stop made by Namdi Okwuyo after a short gain, second down.
Key for Washington State is trying to find ways of getting guys in the backfield, create some of those negative plays, really force Jake Browning to be one-dimensional. Remember, Dante Pettis, their #1 wide receiver, is not in the game. Not having really put much pressure on Browning in the passing game.
Second and 9. Here's Picelli, one-on-one with Moulton, and the Washington State defense rallies. It'll be third down and long. There's a stop made by Hunter Dale.
This is a big opportunity for Washington State. They can get off the field, get the ball back to their offense, and then try to find a way to get something going. This is that down and distance where we see Jake Browning be a little more mobile at times throughout the course of the season because of pass rush, sometimes by design.
Best third down team in the Pac-12 facing a 5-man rush. Browning steps up, shovels it dangerously, and it's broken up by Harper. There's a flag down in the backfield, and this drive will be extended. Browning is down, just now gets up. Yeah, that's in the area of a late hit.
Yeah, it's Hercules Mataafa, and you just can't afford to make that mistake. Down 24, you struggle to get off the field on third down, and you had what would have been a stop. I can't believe you shovel past that. 10 yards?
Yeah.
Bold strategy.
Personal foul with targeting. Defense number 50. The previous plays under further review.
And so that would lead to an ejection for Hercules Mataafa, their top player on defense.
You can see Browning just buying time, buying time. Mataafa is there, waiting for Browning to potentially scramble. He was the spy. Unfortunately, Browning's got rid of the football, and there's helmet to helmet, and with the launch, that hits all the criteria that you would need to eject a player for targeting. And this is a huge loss to a defense that's looking at their best player. Now all of a sudden not being a part of this team for the rest of the game.
Shakes off the cobwebs there as we bring on Dean Blandino. Dean, good to have you with us. How do you see this one?
Yeah, when we think about targeting, it's one of two types. It's either a defenseless player or it's with the crown of the helmet on any opponent. This is a defenseless player. The passer gets defenseless player protection. You can't lead with the helmet, go to the head neck area. You can see there's clear contact to the head neck. This call should be confirmed.
Really launched himself at Browning. I don't figure that it'll take long either.
Well, after the laser debacle.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed for targeting. Number 50 is disqualified for the remainder of the game. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Dean, thank you. So Hercules Mataafa ejected from this game for targeting. And we'll have to miss the first half of what at this point looks like a bowl game for Washington State. Barring a huge comeback. 24-0, Huskies in front. Fresh life on this possession.
And if you're a defensive coordinator, Alex Grinch for Washington State, it limits somewhat of what you can do because they like to utilize Hercules Mataafa in a variety of ways and move him around.
Bocelli headed around the left side. Thompson grabs a hold of him, and it's second down.
That's a good open field tackle by Jalen Thompson. Because if he didn't stop Bocelli, there's a lot of room to run.
Thompson's a good player. Started every game since arriving. Sophomore out of Downey, California. Was a freshman All-American last year. Their leading tackler here is a sophomore.
Robert Taylor really played well off of one another a couple times this season. Both had interceptions in games.
Here's a trick play out of the Wildcat. Washington State has it snuffed out. He still gets rid of it. This is Kamari Pleasant hurdling his way to the 21. Wow. 20 yards. Browning somehow got it off.
Well, they were trying to work the ball to Will Dissly, the senior out of Bozeman, Montana, and you'll see, look how he works up the field. He's got him, but he's got to move because of the pressure. He tries to set his feet again, but once again, Houdini's and finds his way to flip the ball to Pleasant. I mean, an unbelievable job by Jake Browning just to make something out of nothing.
Gaskin.
By the way, how many times do you see what is almost back-to-back plays with the shuttle passes? Things are getting a little chippy down there in the field.
Flag just flew.
Typically what happens when you've got a rivalry game and one side's extremely frustrated. This almost looked like Dotson punched someone. You see on the left side of your screen, right there. Kidney shot.
Ejected for that.
And look, he's probably trying to plead his case.
Second down.
He's probably trying to plead his case. He was going for the football because that was the arm Gaskin had in his left arm, but there's no need for that. That was long after the play was dead.
And if they had determined that that was a malicious punch, it would have been grounds for ejection. They just showed it on the video board here.
And it's hard to tell, but you can see he's trying to go after the football. This is what desperation looks like when you're down and you're trying to do all you can just to get a turnover and make something happen.
Second down 9. They give it back to Gaskin, who's met in the hole this time. Justice Rogers. See more time at linebacker with Jihad Woods banged up. Third down.
Rogers, who came in for Isaac Dotson. Dotson missed some time earlier this year. Rogers played pretty well. I mean, you had three freshmen almost at times playing the linebacker position, doing a pretty darn good job for Washington State.
Supposed to be a veteran group. Had 3 senior starters there to begin the year, but as you mentioned earlier, Peyton Pollard, Nate Ryder, Isaac Dotson, all injuries at some point. Here's Fuller. Not a whole lot there. It'll be 4th down.
You got to love the fact that Washington State's rallying to the football. There's still a ton of effort. They understand there's plenty of time left in this football game, and as lopsided as it's looked, their offense has the firepower to be able to come back and make plays in the passing game, although the way this game has gone, I have a hard time believing that tonight.
Field goal team comes out. Tristan Vizcaino had a career-long 44-yarder his last time, and it seems like he's really feeling good about himself right now. The game winner last week.
He struggled from the right hash, though, this season. This is where the majority of the misses has come.
.34. He's 2 for 2 tonight. All Huskies in this one. They extend the lead to 27-0 over their in-state rival.
Average work vets versus a brood of angry beavers. Duluth fire hose work vets versus a brood of angry beavers. Duluth trading fire hose work vents, tougher than a giant angry beaver's brood. Get a pair. Only at Duluth stores and DuluthTrading.com.
At Coors, we lager, filter, and package cold for a cleaner, crisper taste. Because every climb deserves a refreshing finish. Whatever your mountain, climb on.
Hey, it's 6 o'clock.
Nothing comes before coffee. That's why we're introducing a whole new line of espresso drinks from McCafe.
Progress is an unstoppable force. The Season of Audi sales event is here. Audi will cover your first month's lease payment on select models during the Season of Audi sales event.
Why did you take credit card debt on?
Second kid.
Private school.
Medical bills.
Moving costs.
Solid ground.
A personal loan from SoFi is a smart way to consolidate credit card debt. Certain borrowers cut their credit card interest rates 42% and increase credit scores 17 points on average. Borrow up to $100,000 with low rates and no hidden fees. Find your rate in just 2 minutes and take on your debt at SoFi.com.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Duluth Trading. Tough, ingenious workwear designed and tested by tradesmen. Back here in Seattle, where the Washington defense has been dominant. A season full of dominant performances. They got a signature one going here. Shutting Washington State out through 2+ quarters. Bell from the 5. Bell taken down to the 22-yard line by Zeke Turner. And a 27-0 game. We go in the huddle, brought to you by SoFi, Modern Finance Company. If they're going to have some kind of success on offense, what's got to happen?
The toughest thing is there's not many answers right now with the way this offense is played. But they've got to find better production on first and second down. With the exception of a couple outliers, that's what's plagued them. They've had a hard time just getting to third down. Luke Falk has thrown 2 interceptions on second down. They're averaging less than 2 yards per play.
14-21 overall for 135. Here's Morrow. Jamal Morrow tackled by Ben Burr-Kirby.
Mentioned it earlier, when you look at the recipe for success versus Washington State, Chris Peterson's defense has had so much success, and you look at some of the relations back to other teams this year that have had success versus Washington State. Justin Wilcox, who spent some time at Boise State. Marcel Yates, defensive coordinator at Arizona, who spent some time at Boise State. And the common denominator is the way they mix some things up front, the way they mix coverages, playing a little bit more split safety looks at times.
Fault to the sideline there is Tate Martin. On time and on target for a first down. Working against Miles Bryant, although there is a flag down.
But you know, what that has forced Washington State to do is a pass-happy offense that's throwing against looks that aren't conducive.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense number 6. He was covered up. Replay. Second down.
That's Jameer Colvin, the true freshman. This is the sort of communication you got to have with a wide receiver outside of you. Right here. See, he's on the line, so he's got to be off. And that's the issue. Even though he's eligible, he's covered up by someone outside.
So wipes away the first down pickup on 2nd and 8. Here comes Morrow with a head of steam. Clipped down by Austin Joyner. Talking about Chris Peterson coaching tree, guys that spent some time with him at Boise State, the success they've had against his Washington State offense this year. And Chris Peterson, really, his entire time as head coach here.
It's those roots stemming back to Boise, but it's really been the different things they do up front, whether it's with their pass rush or their coverage on the back end. The mixture of coverage things they try to do to disguise and confuse Luke Falk after the snap of the football.
Cougars yet to convert a third down today, facing a 4-man rush. Falk over the middle gets picked off. It's Ben Burr-Kirby. Third interception of the day for Washington.
This has happened on every interception so far today. Luke Falk's just not seeing the defense. I mean, Ben Burr-Kirby was working up this route the entire time. Watch his eyes as he drops into coverage. He sees it coming the whole way. Luke Falk starts to stare down Sweet, and he's thrown off his back foot. He doesn't have much on the football anyway, which makes it a very easy interception for Burr-Kirby.
Like he didn't see him.
And that's the problem when you talk about how you go about reading defenses and your progressions, all the things you talk about in the quarterback room. When you read a defense, you're looking at defenders. These are all pure progression reads for Washington State.
Gaskin on first down, short game.
And what that means is you're basically looking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going through all the different receivers or potential receivers in their routes. And because of that, you're not so focused on the defense. But that's when you lose sight of where certain players are, especially when a defense moves at the snap of the football, like Washington did on that a couple plays ago.
In Luke Falk's career, now in the Apple Cup, which is 3 games long, he missed 1 game with a concussion. 3 touchdowns and 8 interceptions. Gaskin makes 1-man miss. Accelerates. Miles Gaskin leaping for the end zone. His 3rd touchdown of the day. And the route is on in the Apple Cup.
I mean, this is the last spot you want to be in. If you're a defender in space, like Sean Harper was one-on-one, it's tough to even get a hand on Miles Gaskin. And look at the balance and the ability to stay in bounds and leap for the pylon. I mentioned earlier tonight's broadcast, in the 2 losses Washington's had this season, Jake Brown didn't throw a touchdown pass. Now, they beat UCLA, and he didn't throw a touchdown pass in that game, but they rushed for 333 yards and 5 touchdowns, which is looking very similar to how tonight's went.
Second week in a row with the 3 touchdowns for Gaskin, running his school record total of 42. An extra point is just barely through. 34-0, Washington in front. The defending Pac-12 champs ruining Washington State's chance at getting a crown of their own.
1 second, guys. I am currently fixing the angle.
Got to, Coach. Age catches up with everybody. Nah, it's not that. The picture quality of the new Element 4K TV is insane. People at home are going to notice if even
1 second.
Place. And with Element's great prices, everyone's going to have one.
Just hang on with me. I'm trying to fix this.
Keep at it, boys. We're trying, laddie. We're trying.
Go to elementelectronics.com to find a retailer near you.
Not every rivalry is a fight. Like Wendy's beef with the other guys. Well, they thaw out. Wendy's goes all out, serving fresh beef for nearly 50 years, which is why true hamburger fans side with the official hamburger of the NCAA.
I'm your Venus.
The smoother the skin, the more comfortable you are in it. So find a Venus Smooth that contours to curves, flexes for comfort, and has a disposable made for you. Skin smoothing Venus razors.
At Farmers, we've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything. Even
Might be a little shaky, guys. I'm fixing the camera angle. That is not better.
And we covered it. July 1st, 2015. Talk to Farmers.
No problem, guys. Please subscribe and like the stream if you guys are enjoying this, because I'll most likely do this again for more games, typically saying how good this stream is going. So if you guys subscribe and like, I will do a lot more of these, because
Constipated? Trust #1 doctor recommended Dulcolax. Use Dulcolax tablets for gentle, dependable relief. Suppositories for relief in minutes, and Dulcoes for comfortable relief of hard stools. Dulcolax, designed for dependable relief.
Fox Thursday.
What the hell just happened?
The crew enters a dimension unlike anything they've seen before.
Oh my God.
Let's move fast.
The Orville, starring Seth MacFarlane. All new Thursday or anytime on Fox Now or Hulu.
Can't wait for next weekend on Fox. Big 12 Championship starts off Super Saturday. Oklahoma playing for a spot in the playoff against TCU. Then it's Wisconsin and Ohio State. And the Big 10 Championship game all next week, Super Saturday on Fox.
If Oklahoma wins, Wisconsin wins. I don't know that there's much controversy. Those two teams getting to the playoff. But if Ohio State was to beat Wisconsin as a 2-loss champion, we saw Penn State get leapfrogged last year as a Big Ten champion. Even though they beat Ohio State head-to-head, won the division. Things could get interesting. And obviously, with Alabama losing today, if they have a shot at getting in.
Dallas-Fort Worth.
trying to give you guys as much of the game as I'm fixing the camera angle.
Bernard Bell, tackle at the 20. Bruce Feldman should come with us next weekend. Bruce, how about tonight, though?
Guys, our crew has seen some good D linemen this year. We've had Oklahoma, Ohio State, Michigan. I have not seen anything quite like Vita Vea this year in person. He is just abusing and ragdolling these Washington State linemen. At one point, he came over to the sideline. One of his teammates goes, "They can't block you. They can't even double team you. Just keep eating." I mean, it's like Washington State's D-line may be small. Their O-line is not small, and he is just crushing them tonight.
And Washington State's got one of the biggest offensive lines in the Pac-12.
Falk all day this time. And finds a man, but it's jarred out of there. Wow. Byron Murphy absolutely punishes Isaiah Johnson-Mack.
My goodness. He's not very big. He's only 5'11", 175 pounds, but he can move. Take a listen.
Oh, guys, that might be actually perfect.
And that is
perfect, guys.
He hit within the strike zone.
There you go.
With the shoulder, not with the helmet. Well done by Byron Murphy.
Freshman.
There you go, guys.
2 interceptions in his debut game against Rutgers, but then broke his foot and missed 2 months. Now his second game back.
Watching him come back, that young man's a difference maker.
Ball keeping on into one-on-one coverage. Desmond Patman makes a nice catch. Gets
No problem, JC.
Taking advantage of that 6'4".
Thank you for coming to the stream.
This is really the mismatch I was kind of looking for all game long from Washington State, but they haven't taken many opportunities to just throw up jump balls. They've got multiple wide receivers who are 6'3" or taller. Whether it's Isaiah Johnson-Mack, Tavarius Martin, we saw Pittman. I mean, Patman. I mean, they've got a number of guys who are at least 4 inches taller than the quarterbacks they're working against.
Morrow into the backfield. While Morrow cuts it upfield for a first down.
Just going back to Vita Vea, you know, one of the things that I think last year when you watched him a little bit, he wasn't in as good condition or shape, so in late in games, you didn't see him have the same type of impact that you've seen him have here coming into the third quarter. That's one of the biggest differences. You see him watching the fourth quarter, Vita Vea is still impacting games, still getting penetration.
Guys, please share the stream so I can get some more people on here. And don't forget to like the stream.
Shovels a bullet right to the hands of Morrow. Now, Pete Kwiatkowski, the D coordinator for Washington, told us last year that when he's on, Vita Vea that is, he's unstoppable. The question was, would he be on? Because the effort was not there, play in and play out. I think he's gotten much closer to being that consistent guy every play this year.
That's what the tape tells this year. Him and Greg Gaines, the job that they've done. But it helps, too, when you go against an offense that's largely one.
It's going to be a little light
here. They don't have to worry about stopping the run. They have to worry about getting after the full.
Which they do again with a 3-man rush. And the second, or the first sack tonight for Jalen Johnson.
I mean, at some point, Luke Falk's got to get rid of the football. I mean, you're going to see crossing routes coming underneath. I know there's a lot of guys dropping into coverage, but you've got to move. You've got to get rid of the football. This is
sorry for all you Cougs fan out there.
So you have to adjust because you can't
change
the 5 guys in front of you.
And
you can't change the
it's not going so well, so sorry about those Coug fans.
So you got to find a way.
Congratulations, Huskies. You guys are doing good.
Sacked 5 times.
Sorry, guys, about the game for the Cougs.
A night to forget.
Sorry, guys, about
You don't blame him for maybe getting a little bit of alligator arm on this one.
Sorry, guys, about that. Someone called me.
Down his target.
Sorry about that one.
About Pointer, who's a quarterback on the opposite side of the field. When you play in zone coverage, you're typically going to read the quarterback's eyes. So usually you can jump routes, you can get picks, and disrupt completions. But at this point, I mean, they've got to adjust. They've got to do something to be able to get some easy completions and try to get yards after the catch. But the point is, first and second down have been disastrous so far tonight.
Fuller back to return Mitchell Cox's punt. Fields it, takes a knee at the 15-yard line. All Washington in this one. A chaotic week in college football. We'll take a look at the playoff picture as it stands entering championship weekend after this break.
At Jared, we turn feelings into jewelry. Jewelry that tells her she's the best thing that's ever happened to you in a way that goes beyond words. It could be a piece jewelry designers created just for Jared, or a piece we custom made just for you. Because we're more than a store that sells beautiful jewelry. We are jewelers. The one unique gift that tells her exactly how you feel. That's why you went to Jared.
It's Cyber Monday. We need to get busy. On it, we're saving an extra 15% off everything on Target.com. Oh, bananas, bananas, bananas. It is crazy, right?
Save an extra 15% off. Cyber Monday at Target.com.
The new Dickies Flex series is built for performance with superior mobility.
Yeah, it's a great game for the Huskies. JC, it's not so good for
Flex, engineered to move.
Cougs.
Learn more at Dickies.com.
Anyways.
The Volkswagen Atlas with easy access third row. Life's as big as you make it.
Yeah, Snowbird, it'd be nice to see a closer game, like somewhere closer.
Top steak and twisted potatoes at Applebee's.
Hey George, can we have a little bit of courtesy for the other team? It's just to make people not feel so crappy about themselves.
The best gift you can give is your time. Volunteer at neighborhoodofgood.com. State Farm.
This is what happens when game
We're divas. We're extra.
recognizes game.
Weird. Brock Osweiler, Tom Savage, Mac Osweiler, and Savage and Sean Watson.
What?
All right, now we got something.
First things first. Weekday mornings on FS1.
Top two teams both lose this weekend, so now what?
I think it's going to be 3 through 6 move up into those top 4 spots. You're going to see Alabama at 5, probably Miami sitting there at 6. But you're looking at teams like Clemson, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, Auburn. But they've still got to all play conference championship games, so we'll see how that plays out over the course of next week.
Washington start this drive at the 15. Here's Ahmed. A gain of 10, and we go down Bruce.
Guys, I don't want to hear about 2 SEC teams getting in the playoff this year. If people bump up Alabama with their resume, it's embarrassing.
This screen setup's actually perfect.
Is LSU,
It's legit
who's
fitting my
9-3.
screen just
People are hanging
fine.
their hat on beating
60-inch
Mississippi State.
screen.
They
It's
just
actually
lost to
fitting
Ole
quite well.
Miss. They were like a 17-point favorite. So if they get in, the committee should be embarrassed. No 2 teams for the SEC this year. Sorry.
And there's some people who feel that way, but Wisconsin doesn't have that strong strength of schedule. I mean, Northwestern might be one of their best wins with the Michigan loss today. When you look at the Big Ten West, it's a little easier, but that's also an undefeated team, and that's assuming they would beat Ohio State. I think there's going to be more of a gripe if Ohio State wins the Big Ten championship as a 2-loss champion.
Ohio State were to beat Wisconsin. I think that would be enough. Now, they do have 2 bad losses, but we're working.
There's some people who maybe say, look, that team had 2 bad losses this year, and, how really good do you feel about their game control and some of their wins given out? They beat Penn State. And look, you don't know the status of JT Barrett. He's probably going to play next week the Big Ten championship, but if he doesn't, does that factor in potentially?
After, next week after having beaten Auburn, but they don't have any good wins right now, and they have a loss, it's by double digits. I just don't see it.
Yeah, Matthew, it sucks.
Conference champs. I don't think
you're doing so good.
And I don't think your alma mater.
And then it's just kind of slowing down, but we still have a lot of time left. Let's see what we can do.
2 bad losses. Losing Oklahoma is not a bad loss.
Right. Well, in the fashion in which they did and the fact that they were home, I think you look at that loss thinking it's not bad in the sense of who they played, but you're also looking at a team that you would expect to be more competitive, and you're worried about who's going to show up in the playoff. I mean, we saw Ohio State get in last year, not being a conference champion, and they didn't show up. It was a goose egg.
Alright guys, I'm off the comments, so talk like with the other viewers, so I'm off the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you very much.
We've already seen some bad losses, like Ohio State faced versus Oklahoma versus Iowa.
Heavy dose of Savon Ahmed on this drive. Closing seconds of the 3rd quarter. The game owned by Washington. And as they see all these things up in the air across the country, it's salt in the wound for dropping that game. Really, you understand the loss at Stanford. For dropping that game at Arizona State, where they only managed 7. You're going to be sitting there thinking, what if we got one more score? What if?
There are a number of things that went awry in that game. I think one thing you got to credit Todd Graham and his staff for. They got a lot of pressure on Jake Browning in that match.
Just one more little announcement. During the next commercial break, the stream will be going down for like 2 seconds. Not going to be that long.
Right now is,
so I'm just going to go check something real quick, and then it'll come back to the stream.
Haven't done it since 1990, 1991.
So yeah, enjoy the game, and I'm off the comments. I'm done talking.
Been able to sweep Washington State.
Gaskins back in there. For a short game.
Can you guys hear it all right? This is the last thing I'm going to need. Just, if you guys can hear it all right, just let me know.
That's what Bruce said, though, as far as 4 conference champions getting in. They're going to look at the Pac-12 champion, whoever that may be, as we're going to have too many losses. We haven't seen a 2-loss conference champion get in. So, given that could potentially be the case in Ohio State, we'll see what the committee decides. But they probably wouldn't mind if things were easy for them. And if teams like Clemson, Oklahoma, Wisconsin, all won, and obviously then you'd be looking at an SEC
no problem, Snow.
Which, if it's Auburn,
thank you for letting me know.
You got to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Hey, that rhymed. Okay, I'm done talking now.
In 3 weeks or 3 games, it's impressive.
Yeah, you got to figure the committee today was sitting there saying, oh no, our job just got a whole lot tougher with Alabama losing.
Okay, guys, it's gonna be going down for like 2 seconds, so I'll be right back.
Great things come in twos when you holiday together at T-Mobile. Right now, buy one iPhone 8, get one on us.
You supported him through 4 years of undergrad and medical school. It's no wonder he said, "You don't have to pick me up." At Lincoln Financial, we get there are some responsibilities of love you gotta do on your own, and some you shouldn't have to shoulder alone, like being able to retire more confidently, no matter what comes your way. Lincoln can help with income that lasts every year of your retirement, guaranteed. See how at lincolnfinancial.com.
What is this? Are we not mortal enemies who have fought countless battles against each other? And now you fight as one?
Even you, Sultan. His tribe bested yours but a short time ago.
It's the only way I can beat the king. It's much easier this way.
I just want a ring before I retire.
See what I mean, man? Man, it's whack. Superstars joining up to form a super team.
And your point?
Man, it goes against competition, CC.
I don't see a problem, Nick.
Perfect holiday downtown at River Park Square.
I'm Charlie.
And I'm Jeannie, and we are Windermere homeowners.
We wanted a house that would accommodate 2 adults and 5 kids, plus animals outside.
And our Windermere agent didn't seem to mind driving us all over. He didn't give up, and he ultimately found this one, and we made the successful offer on it.
This is my dream house. It has the acreage, it has the view, the porch I always wanted, and room for the kids to run around.
Tonight on Fox First at 10, the rain is back for the inland northwest, and notice even some areas in that pink and purple, meaning snow into the mountains. How that will affect the rest of your weekend's commute over the mountain passes after the Thanksgiving holiday. On top of that, this system bringing wind back to the region. More details coming up tonight at 10. Area.
Fox Sports Supports is proud to team up with Snowball Express in their commitment to providing hope and new happy memories to the children of our fallen heroes while on active duty since 9/11. By bringing children together from all over the world, Snowball Express provides an annual life-changing event to make each child feel special as we remember the lives of their parents. Visit foxsportsupports.com to learn more. They're down 6 up in the fourth quarter. Jake Browning in the Husky offense evades the pressure momentarily, but then goes down. Nick Bagg gets the sack. For a Washington State defense that averages more than 3 sacks a game, it's top 10 in the country. It's their first one tonight. Joel Whitford out of Australia. High punt. Now down to 12. Early on in the fourth quarter. To take a break. Back to Seattle in a moment.
Ice cold, Dr. Pepper, last one.
Hey, that's my Dr. Pepper. I saw it first. No, you didn't. Let go. You let go. You. Larry, what do I do?
Yeah, old-fashioned Kraloff. Generations of bad blood. Rivalries.
Text.
Don't make any sudden moves. I got just the thing.
Easy. Easy. We're lucky. Usually doesn't work. Let's go, Dr. Pepper here. Let's go.
Hey, man. Oh, nice man cave.
Nacho?
What? Stop it.
Mm-hmm. You've been saving a lot of money ever since we switched to Progressive.
This bar is legit.
And now we get an even bigger discount from bundling home and auto.
I can get used to this.
It might take a minute.
Swing and a miss. Slam dunk. Touchdown. Sports.
Stressful days can lead to sleepless nights, making you feel helpless. Take control of your sleep with Unisom Sleep Tabs. You fall asleep 33% faster and wake up recharged. With all the benefits of a good night's rest, take control of your sleep with Unisom.
It's the last gift on Note 8 with Verizon Unlimited. So Tom can apply this and fix that on the network he deserves, Verizon. Thanks to the expert service and selection at Best Buy. Open this last.
It's intercepted by Phillips. He's at the 30. He's at the 20. He's going all done.
Nothing comes before coffee. That's why we're introducing a whole new line of espresso drinks from McCafe.
Fox College Football is sponsored by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you. Now by Dr. Pepper, the one fans crave. When rolling Washington State, you're welcome, Stanford, headed to the Pac-12 championship game. Stanford playing Notre Dame right now, and Greg Wolf has an update.
All right, Joe, we go back to Sanford Stadium, trailing by 3. Stanford goes on a 7-play, 70-yard drive. KJ Costello caps it off, going to his roommate, Caden Smith. 19-yard touchdown. The Cardinal back on top, 24-20, fourth quarter. Joe Brady, back to you.
It's 2 weeks in a row now. Yeah. Finally giving those tight ends some love.
Vita Vea all over Luke Falk as he dumps it off. And Morrow is driven down by Miles Bryant. Washington State, for the second year in a row, entered the Apple Cup, 1 win away from advancing to the Pac-12 championship game. Last year in Pullman, got routed 45-17. And now trailing 34-0. Stanford on the verge of meeting USC next Friday.
Washington State is just a different team on the road this year. Talking about the loss that they've sustained in Arizona and Cal. They just haven't showed up.
Falk throws on the move. It's tipped and incomplete. Byron Murphy got his hand on it to set up third down.
I talked about it earlier. I wish they would incorporate a little bit more quick game. Force Luke Falk to get the ball out of his hand quicker. And some of the voids and soft spots in the zone coverage of Washington. Everything's been more just your typical drop-back passing game. The Washington defense has forced Luke Falk to hold on to the football because of their coverage, and they've gotten after him and put pressure on him with a 3- and 4-man rush.
Still yet to convert a third down today. 0 for 7. Here's Morrow, who's got a first down. Jamal Morrow across the 30-yard line.
It's been one of the differences, too. You haven't seen much from Washington State is them completing more footballs to the running backs. Got about, 6 or 7 catches tonight as a group. A number of drops early in the game. Combination of that and poor passes, but haven't been able to get those guys going and give Falk some easier completions.
Tipped and incomplete. Murphy got his hand on it again. They have just reloaded in this secondary after the 3 departures to the NFL. Jones, King, and Baker all drafted in the second round.
They were so experienced. You've got guys who replace them that you're talking about as a sophomore, a redshirt freshman, and a redshirt sophomore, and Bryant, Murphy, and Joyner. So they're able to play at such a high level at such a young age.
Falk off his back foot out of bounds. There's is a common scene. Falk scraping himself off of the deck.
Yeah, once again, it's only a 3-man rush. I can't tell you how miserable it sounds to sit in the pocket against a 3-man rush, aided coverage, and there's nowhere to throw the football. I mean, it feels absolutely suffocating to be in that position.
Thomas Benning Potoani, leading by Andre Diller. They've taken turns making Luke Falk feel him tonight. Here's Patman, back shoulder, making a nice contested grab against Byron Murphy.
I would have thought for sure that would have been a free play for Washington State. Not that it mattered, but you're going to see Greg Gaines. And I don't think he got back in time before they snapped the football. But again, doesn't matter. Great back shoulder to Pat.
A couple of nice contested catches tonight. In Washington territory, Falk steps into one to the sideline, in the air and incomplete. Joined to the coverage. Tavares Martin Jr., the intended receiver.
The toughest thing for Luke Falk with what this Washington defense has done in their secondary is they're mixing up their looks, and at the snap of the football, you're either going to safety running down to create a single high safety look, or you'll get both safeties sitting in the back. And then sometimes they move where they'll shift to one side of the field and play more of a zone coverage with 2 defenders to the outside. So that disguise, that mix, I think has confused Falk at times.
Able to get this one off, finding Morrow for a first down across the 30.
And that's the weak portion of the field when you play a 2-high split safety coverage. It's the middle of the field, this void, and if you can find a way of free releasing a running back, it forces those linebackers to have to play in coverage. I don't know how Falk sneaked that ball in there.
6th time he's found Morrow tonight. That leads the Cougars. And the 28, 1st and 10. They're shuffling it off again to Morrow. The area of the stop after 8 or 9.
If you're a Washington State fan, where was this at the beginning of the game?
How about that? Last time they were shut out, 2010, before Mike Leach arrived.
At this point, you figure you're probably in 4-down territory everywhere now, given the point in the game.
Second and short. Falk pressured again with only a 3-man rush. And you just see how miserable that looks to have to live. You're Luke Falk, 8 pen in coverage, and you're still running for your life.
You talked about Jamal Morrow leading them in receptions with 7 so far tonight. He's had about 3 on this drive, and they were actually trying to target him once again, working on Ben Burkerman. Morrow could get open, and the pressure eventually forced him to throw the football away. But at some point, 3rd and short, given that you've only got 5 men in the box, why not run the football, pick up the first down, and then look to try to score after that?
Negative 31 rushing time. A lot of those the 5 sacks. They've only run it 1 time in the second half, and it remains that way as Renard Bell has a first down.
Bell, one of the more promising wide receivers of this Washington State group, the redshirt freshman. Talked about they love his attitude, love his demeanor, the way he practices and approaches the game. It's a little hobble. He's only 5'8", 165 pounds. So he plays bigger than that.
Then with Jameer Calvin, similar size. Both out of Cathedral High in Los Angeles. Ball chase from behind across his body has Tavares Martin Jr. again. Ben Burkerman racking up the tackles.
Washington State loves these crossing routes, this portion of the field. And eventually what you're going to see is they're going to run some sort of concept with 2 post routes. I'll shift out of this. Looking for that void in the middle of the field.
Find it was Sweet. 1st and goal, Washington State.
Like to flip it and run it again.
Here's Morrow. Not a whole lot of room in there. Surrounded by purple shirts. The ball came out, but it was blown dead. And it's second down.
Steve's really hoping for a shutout. This is an area where you'd think that size advantage, if they can throw the football up for a fade, would come into play for Washington State.
At the bottom, you have Isaiah Johnson-Mack, who has 4 inches on Byron Murphy. Second and goal, back to Morrow, and he's in for the touchdown. So the Cougars finally on the board here in the 4th.
Really, the key was the way they spread the field there. You talked about Isaiah Johnson-Mack. They had 2-by-2 set with both sets of wide receivers extremely wide, forcing Washington to have to declare how they wanted to play their defense, how many guys they wanted to put around the line of scrimmage to stop the run. Washington State had the numbers. We'll finally find a seam that Washington State, or that Washington defense, excuse me.
Punch it in on the 15th play of the drive. Powell had the extra point. And it's 34-7. We talked about the playoff picture. The other thing that's developing as we move into December is the coaching carousel. Bruce Feldman will give us some details when we come back.
You smart holiday shoppers will be glad to know Buick has great deals planned for you this Black Friday. Or if you prefer, Crimson Red Tint Coat Friday. Or Quicksilver Metallic Friday.
Ring in the holidays with Buick. It's the Enclave Black Friday event at your Buick dealer. Get 20% below MSRP on all 2017 Enclave premium models. That's over $10,500 on this specially equipped Enclave.
Not every rivalry is a fair fight. Like Wendy's beef with the other guys. While they thaw out, Wendy's goes all out, serving fresh beef for nearly 50 years, which is why true hamburger fans side with the official hamburger of the NCAA.
Check it out, dog. That was just all right for me. I mean, you got the walk, you got the stance, but I wasn't really feeling it. You know what? I'm not buying this. You gotta come a little harder, dog. You gotta figure it out. I don't know. Shaky on the walk, carriage was off.
Randy Jackson judging a dog show?
I don't know, dog.
Surprising. What's not surprising? How much money Lisa saved by switching to Geico.
Oh, wow. Performance of the night.
15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
What's your emergency?
If you actually save someone, there's no better feeling in the world.
I can help you.
There's some big-time openings across college football, aren't there, Bruce Feldman?
That's right, Joe, especially in the SEC. Keep an eye on Arkansas if you're a Washington State fan. I was told on Friday by a source that if Auburn ended up winning this weekend against Alabama, which obviously they did, that might take Gus Malzahn out of the mix for the Arkansas vacancy. And here's where it gets interesting. I'm told some Razorback influential boosters are very intrigued by Mike Leach and may try to come after him. He also potentially could be in play for Nebraska, where Bill Moose's old boss, who is the AD for the Cougars, is now in Lincoln. The question, though, is would Leach actually leave? I know he really likes it in Pullman. His family's happy there, and he's obviously built this. But if Arkansas comes coming, or Nebraska, would he be able to say no?
Onside kick recovered by Ty Jones.
And the other part of that is, you're changing your program the way it looks, at least offensively, in a dynamic fashion, right? I mean, Arkansas has been known for running the football. They've been able to throw the football in air that a little bit, but Brett Bielema, former offensive lineman, he likes to run football. That's a complete identity change if you're Arkansas. As you look at what Mike Leach has been able to do for his time at Washington State.
They were 9-40, 4 seasons before he arrived and turned this program around. First down run for Gaskin, accelerates for a nice pickup. So not that surprising to see Mike Leach tend to some openings, but Bruce, what is this about Chris Peterson perhaps being a candidate at Tennessee?
Joe, I think it's so far-fetched. Now, I was told that Tennessee has interest in him. I don't doubt that. This guy's a great coach. You see what he's doing this year, and like he's got a bunch of really good offensive players who are sidelined and injured. I just couldn't see Chris Peterson, who didn't want to be in the USC fishbowl, going into the biggest fishbowl maybe in the SEC.
It's just incredible. Not only one, the job that the offensive line does up front, creating holes. I mean, look, Gaskin's got the vision. He's got the gas once he steps on the pedal. But watch him just carry a defender an additional, 10 yards? You can't say enough about how consistent he's been since he's gotten to Washington. He's averaged 100 yards in every game of his career. You put it all together. In the last 5 games, 4 of them he's rushed for over 100 yards. The one game he didn't, he caught for over 100 yards in the passing game.
How about a 4-touchdown day? Emblematic of how this day has gone. Untouched into the end zone for Myles Gaskin.
At safety, Jalen Thomas was the free defender. And after one cut, that's all it took for Gaskin to get in the end zone. What a day. But they don't say these dogs will hunt.
We've been working on that one for a good chunk of the week.
It's hunting season.
Right. You were going to break earlier. How about them apples? Monday, Tuesday, when did you start playing on that one?
It just came to me in the moment.
Of course it did. Washington, Gaskin's 4th touchdown.
How did you do that?
Master Pass.
Master Pass?
Master Pass.
Nice chair.
Thanks. I use Master Pass.
Master Pass.
Yeah, Master Pass.
Master Pass.
Yeah, Master Pass. Pass.
Was it expensive?
Priceless.
I'll Master Pass you a new one.
Master Pass by MasterCard, the modern way to pay.
It's Cyber Monday. We need to get busy. On it, we're saving an extra 15% off everything on Target.com.
Oh, bananas.
It is crazy, right?
Save an extra 15% off Cyber Monday at Target.com.
Ordinary tissues left Dakota's nose sore and red. So Dad slayed the problem with Puffs Plus Lotion instead. With lotion to soothe and softness to please, a nose in need deserves Puffs indeed.
Jen.
Mark. Hi. Jake, this is Mark. We used to date.
Hey, Chief.
So easy to dip, so hard to put down. Rolled chicken tacos are back. Tasty shredded chicken rolled up with your choice of dips. Only at Taco Bell.
This is not another 18-blade razor. Because this is Phillips Norelco One Blade. A blade for beards and stubble. Shape and shave any length. Phillips Norelco.
Save up to 50% now through December 2nd.
Mike and I are both veterans, both served in the Navy. I do outrank my husband, not just being in the military but at home.
She thinks she's the boss. She only had me by 1 grade. We bought our first home together in 2010.
His family had used another insurance product, but I was like, I've had USAA for a while. Why don't we call and check the rates?
It was instant savings, and I should have changed a long time ago.
There's no point in looking elsewhere, really. We're the Tennies, and we're USAA members for life.
USAA. Get your insurance quote today.
The Big 12 Championship on Fox. Magic Mayfield. The Sooners take on TCU in a showdown for the ages. With Oklahoma fighting for a shot at the national title. Next Saturday at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox.
Huskies in the 110th Apple Cup. How about that fake apple?
The air apple?
Classic.
Only break it out once a year.
What kind? What's your favorite apple?
It's a Fiji? I think it's a Fiji.
Really? That's your favorite?
I like the grannies too, though. Those are good.
Honey crisp all day. Had one last night in Rome. Bernard Bell crosses the 25-yard line. Time now for the progressive performance of the game. Myles Gaskin 10 yards short of his career high 192 with his second career 4-touchdown game.
He's been phenomenal tonight. We talked about it. When Dante Pettis got hurt, then Levon Coleman, someone had to step up. And with the conditions here and the rain, it's constantly falling. It's been Myles Gaskin. He's been as good as he gets.
All-around athlete. He was a track champion in high school. Dunked a basketball when he was in 8th grade. This is not a particularly big guy. He's 5'10".
The other thing is, people always talk about, can he take the beating, can he take the bruising? 25 carries tonight. He's proven that since he was a true freshman. He never really takes the big hit. He's so good in space of getting down and kind of ducking or spinning and finding a way not to be able to take the brutal hits that stack up over the course of a season. I think Coleman, too, sharing the load a little bit. Ahmed, as well, this year as a true freshman, has helped out. It's kind of allowed him to not carry so much of a burden.
How do you think Myles Gaskin profiles in the NFL?
Again, in today's NFL, there's no more bell cow back, so I think that bodes well for Gaskin because of his ability to come in and give you some good reps. Now, he's small, but, I mean, the thing that impresses me the most is he's pretty good at pass protection. I mean, he'll stick his nose in there, he'll cut guys down, but he's also pretty feisty in pass protection, and he can catch the football in the backfield. So all those things speak well for him. I think the biggest thing is what is his speed going to be in the 40 and the combine. Those are things that obviously allow you to separate yourselves from the rest of the pack because he doesn't have that size and physicality that you see in some other backs that get taken in the top few rounds of the draft.
No problem, Dr. Rich. It's my honor to do this. I like doing this stuff.
On 3rd down and 3, they again drop 8 into coverage, and a man comes open underneath. It's Martin Jr. for a Washington State first down.
Same concept. They've been running time and time again. Guy in the flat, guy intermediate route, and having some sort of clear out, whether it's a go or a corner route.
His 10th catch, but not much.
This is obviously going to take some of the sting a little bit off from this performance if Washington State can continue to drive, get points, make it statistically look a little better in the box score. But for Luke Falk, I mean, clearly disappointment. This is played for Washington State for a while. This is his first time playing Seattle in the Apple Cup. He sat out a couple of years ago when we were here and watched Peyton Bender and then starting for the Cougars.
It's going to remain that for him and the seniors, Washington will be the only team that they fail to beat in their time in Pullman. Stuck that one in there, and they say that Patman got a foot down. That's a catch and a first down.
Incredible footwork by Patman. Watch as he is able to bring in the catch, but see how he picks his left leg up and drags the right. I mean, that is textbook. And you'd think that you wouldn't want to lift that left leg up like that, extend that out of bounds. What it forces you to do, because you're kind of off balance, is put your right leg on the ground to go and drag it, because you're kind of off balance.
Hit as he throws. Vita Vea almost had an interception. It was Keyshawn Bierria that got a hold of Falk as he tried to let it go.
It's been the story of the night. Keyshawn Bierria adds to the pressure. He's actually looking to cover the back, and once he had a free rush, and he saw Falk wasn't going to him, so he figured, why not? Let's try to go get a sack, disrupt the pass play.
Well, how's Luke Falk going to feel tomorrow morning?
Sore, and probably angry. And you think about his journey and how he got to Washington State. The guy was a walk-on when he first got there.
Dr. Rich, don't forget to subscribe and like the stream, please.
For high school for a certain portion, when he came back to Logan, Utah.
And everyone, please subscribe and like the stream.
Williams has a first down on a little shovel pass.
forced him to be off the radar for a lot of schools out there. Had a phenomenal senior year at Logan High School. I felt like Pullman reminded him of Logan, of his hometown. Like it was a better fit.
And when he got here, he was the sixth stringer, but stood out right away for his work ethic, moved up the depth chart. As a redshirt freshman, he was Connor Halliday's backup and started the final few games when Halliday was hurt. With Field to evade the rush this time and slides down after a short game. First full year as a starter in 2015, he was the nation's leading passer. Again, last year, similar numbers, 4,500 yards, 38 touchdowns. And he's capping it all off as the Pac-12's all-time leader in just about every major passing category.
The ones you want.
Yeah, right.
I think the next question is going to be, how does he compare and translate to the NFL? We haven't seen many quarterbacks from Mike Leach's system be able to play well, play at a high level once they get to the NFL. I think the biggest thing is, as we look at his Pac-12 records entering today, he's only going to build upon that between tonight and the bowl game. But I think the biggest difference is you see the style of offense that they run, and it's just not as conducive to the NFL level where you have different personnel groupings, you're moving in and out. Even though you're in shotgun more now so than ever in the NFL, you still got to be able to play under center, utilize the play action pass, turn your back to the defense, turn back around and identify coverage. There's a lot more on your plate than what he's asked to do at Washington State, and that's going to be the adjustment.
Great catch by Tate Martin, and he's in for a touchdown. There is a flag down.
That's something that NFL evaluators are going to love about Luke Falk, is his ability to make those sorts of throws.
Holding on an eligible receiver. Defense number 10. No penalties declined. Touchdown.
So Martin's in the end zone, and Falk has his first touchdown throw of the day.
Talked about his touch. Watch him as he gets the football. He looks off to his right, and he just comes right back to Martin. Martin, the ability to adjust, and they're really high on this true freshman. I really feel like he could end up being the best wide receiver of this group in the future when you look at his skill set. His size, 6'3", 185 pounds. He's a terrific basketball player in high school, and they feel like that really translates to his ability to run routes and get open in this offense.
Homa, Louisiana. You mentioned the basketball ability. The initial plan was that he'd go to Tulane and play both. Washington State came out and offered, and he's put together a nice freshman season for him.
DirecTV has been rated #1 in customer satisfaction.
Alright guys, the stream's gonna go out for like 2 seconds, but it'll be back.
Just like some people like DirecTV, and this weekend only, a $200
Alright guys, we're back.
DirecTV.
You need those 2 seconds.
A bushel and a peck, a bushel and a peck, though you make my heart a wreck, make my heart a wreck, and you make my life a mess, make my life a mess, yes, a mess of happiness.
While other insurance companies just see a house, State Farm sees the home you've worked really hard for. So why not give it the protection it deserves? State Farm.
At Coors, our mountain is creating a more sustainable world. It's why we pioneered the recyclable can.
Yeah, go ahead, Dr. Rich. I don't care.
Coors Light.
That'd be great. Go ahead and do that.
How the cast of Jumanji got in shit at Dave
So,
Buster's.
2 touchdowns by Cougs and I think like 4,
Play Lane Master, Let's Bounce, and more.
6 touchdowns I think. So, okay guys, enjoy the stream. What's up, Drift?
You smart holiday shoppers, we're glad to know Buick has great deals planned for you.
I'm going for Cougs.
If you prefer Crimson Red Tint Coat
Hopefully we can do this.
or Quicksilver Metallic Friday.
Ring in the holidays with Buick. It's the Enclave Black Friday event at your Buick dealer. Get 20% below MSRP on all 2017 Enclave premium models. That's over $10,500 on this specially equipped Enclave.
Well, Drift, it kind of just came naturally.
Fox College Football is sponsored by State Farm, here to help life go right. Love the Sky Cam, but on a night like this, constant maintenance. That lens dried off. Appreciate all the work from our crew. Hey, Buffy. He's got a roof over his head. Easy for him, Eddie-O. Who's hiding there? There's Jake down on the ground. Well, that's playing for the camera.
Yeah.
That's fine, Dr. Rich. You're all good. Don't forget to like and subscribe to me, guys. Like the stream and subscribe to me so we can have more of this type of content. If you like the stream, then I know you guys like this type of stuff. So,
if they're just working
there you go.
hard, maybe not quite as good. Right? You can have that play hard in there, too.
Gotta balance.
Play for the time. Miles Gaskin will take a knee.
Guys, go subscribe to Drift's friend, please. He's part of my, YouTube team. Thank you, Outshooter.
Setting drive, 8 rushes, 3 passes. It was the grunt attack that really we saw all night long, featured by Miles Gaskin, being able to kind of finish it off.
Okay, guys, I am getting off the chat. I am just looking at the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and please like and subscribe. You're welcome, Masaki O'Malley. Sorry if I butcher your name there, but I will let you guys watch the game. Thank you guys for coming. Please like the stream and subscribe.
Gives it off to Ralph Kinney on first down. He's got a nice run.
This is obviously a great moment for a guy who's a senior. His 4th carry of the season from Shelton, Washington. And it's that fun part when you're a part of a blowout win in a rivalry game, your last home game if you're a senior. An opportunity to get some play time for some guys that work so hard to, a lot of times, service the scout team, put on good looks throughout the course of the year. And this is one of those rewards, finally getting on the field with your family and friends one last time.
Part of another Washington blowout, the Apple Cup. 41-14 here after a 45-17 win last year. 45-10 2 years ago. Kenny again lowers the shoulder. Stopped by Dylan Sherman. So it'll be USC and Stanford thanks to Washington's win tonight. What do you think of that matchup on Friday in Santa Clara?
Stanford's such a change-up for any program to go up against because of what they do running the football, using the additional offensive linemen and tight ends. It's never easy. I mean, to try to prepare for it in a week's time, you don't have as much time to prepare different running schemes and the little nuances off of that. It's tough. And look, KJ Costello, since he's gotten in there, he's really changed the dynamic of that offense, being able to affect the game, throwing the football. But look, Sam Darnold's starting to play a lot better football. We know how good USC can be, how talented they are. Always up there in the top 10 recruiting rankings every year. I'm sure they want another shot at Stanford. Bryce Love, really an opportunity, I think, for him to make a case once again on the national stage that he should be in New York. He should be up there for the Heisman. He's been phenomenal all year. He's played half the season on a bum ankle.
Kinney again. Third down. You and Bruce have kind of settled on 3 finalists, though, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the bottom line, Baker Mayfield's played the best football at the most important position. And I don't foresee him not hoisting up that trophy when it's all said and done. But talking about Bryce Love, leads the country in rushing yards per game. And then Bruce's favorite, Saquon Barkley, who he's been phenomenal at times, but probably not consistent enough. What say you, Bruce?
Brady, I'm ready to vote for Vita Vea tonight. No, it's Baker's running away. The only guy who might have had a shot would be Kerryon Johnson, just because he's got a big game in the SEC title. At least he can get to New York. Beyond that, I'm not sure anyone's touching Baker.
Yeah, you wonder if he had split carries at time. I know Petaway, was injured, but he kind of split some carries. Maybe if that will allow him to have more production earlier this season. Maybe if Kerryon Johnson would be in the conversation a little bit more. He's been the best running back this season, in my opinion, in the SEC.
What is with Washington State taking these timeouts here, using all 3 of their timeouts to force the punt? Next weekend, can't wait. Super Saturday on Fox. All starts with TCU and Oklahoma, the Big 12 championship game. Then a little bit of a basketball.
White's Cougars, blue is Huskies. Okay, that's the only thing I had to answer there, just for people's good. I'm out of the comments for
being a part of that trophy presentation. We'll see, though. I mean, it seems like at least the prognosticators in Vegas have one guy as a heavy favorite. And that's Baker Mayfield.
Joe Whitford's punt. Makes a good bounce for Washington. Down to the 6-yard line.
What a job Chris Peterson's done. You think about since he got here in Washington, he's kind of transformed this program. It's no surprise other schools want to try to lure him away. When we talked earlier about Tennessee potentially looking at him as becoming their head coach because he provides stability. And the guy's a winner. He's done it at Boise. He's done it at Washington.
He's got a chance in the bowl game now with a win to have his 8th 11-win season in 12 years as a head coach.
He's done it at different conferences too, and I can't explain how hard that is to people because you're recruiting versus different teams, you're playing versus different schemes and talent. He's done it multiple ways, and something to be said for that. He's got a good thing going here in Washington. See a number of guys in the Pac-12 kind of stayed put. David Shaw as well.
Yeah.
The job he's done at Stanford. He started out originally in the NFL, and then essentially looked at people talk about maybe one day he'd make that transition, but he doesn't see a need to.
Walk over the middle. That's Dave Martin. Chris Peterson, a coach's son, but he said he had no plans on being a coach when he was growing up. Wanted to be a psychologist. Studied that in college at UC Irvine. Wound up a coach. They're down 3 and Falk with Martin going up to grab it. You've seen some flashes here in the closing minutes. Why they're so high on this freshman.
No problem, George. See you later. Thanks for coming in. Be sure to like and subscribe before you head out.
It's a playing wide receiver. You see there going up high, pointing the football. He's got good hand-eye coordination, but it's really the ability to feel a defender when he turns his hips and how to get open and when to get open. Like right there.
Martin again.
That's why I always wish more kids played multiple sports because they do kind of play hand in hand and him understanding zone defense.
No problem, Jared. Please make sure to like the stream and subscribe for more of this stuff.
Because of that background playing basketball.
Here's Patman. And that will do it. All Washington. I said UC Irvine. UC Davis product. Chris Peterson, unbeaten in Apple.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching the stream. This is what's on next? Let's check.
North against USC Pac-12 championship on Friday.
Just Goldberg's, but I can find
Lead domination from the start in this game.
Let's see.
11-play touchdown drive to set the tone and defense.
No problem, Jay. Please make sure to like and subscribe, guys.
Never really was in doubt.
Sport. Let's see.
USC the week off this week. I'm sure they feel like they're sitting pretty. A chance to recuperate, recover. Now take on Stanford.
There's a lot of games on actually.
Bruce Feldman has Coach Peterson.
Coach, since Mike Leach has gotten rolling in Pullman, nobody has been able to dominate him consistently like you guys have.
But thanks, guys, for watching.
No one else in the Pac-12 have.
And so, please make sure to leave likes as you head out and subscribe as you head out as well. I'll leave it running for a few more minutes.
It's a top 15 defense you face tonight. You run for over 300 yards without Levon.
Don't forget to drop likes and subscribe.
What impresses you the most about Miles?
Yeah, he's a heck of a player. I mean, if he's, you give him a crease, he's going to find it.
Oh, dang, that sucks, Dr. Rich.
And he's deceptively fast.
Alright, guys, see you guys later. I'll see you guys in the next game. Don't forget to drop likes and subscribe. See you guys later in the next stream.